bum 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 bum. You don't need to hear that anymore, do you? You just heard the whole piece. You know, my brother recorded that, wrote it, composed it, of course, and played it, and then recorded it in his studio. He's a professional musician, professional songwriter. And so, hello, my friends. It's so great to see you all. What do we do every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? We meet. We do one thing and one thing only, and that is we learn homeopathy. But tonight's a little different. I thought I'd do something just a little different because people ask me. I've mentioned it, and then they ask me further. So my name is Joette Calabrese, for those of you who don't know me, and this is what we do on Monday nights. And for those who do know me, welcome, my dear friends. Welcome from my mighties. I can see you on this screen. And welcome to my Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, etc., etc. First time on live. Nice to see you, Shannon. Wonderful to see you all. And Ellen and Tara and somebody from Australia. I missed that. I forgot who that name was. I'm so sorry. So, hi, Bob and Deb Dunbar, my friends from Kentucky. I love you too. Love you right back again. So, people ask me often what I take. And I don't take homeopathic medicines very often. I try to actually avoid it. Now, what do I mean by that? Why would I avoid taking these incredible medicines? There are no side effects. They're not very expensive. They're palatable, right? They're easy to take. They're easy to travel with. They're easy to carry. Why would I avoid it? Well, because to be honest, my friends, I just want to live my life. I don't want to be thinking about maladies. I don't want to be thinking about medicines. If I need it, then I'll take it. So I will tell you that right now, I have a capsule strain around my knee. I don't know how I did it. Maybe it was from walking on uneven ground. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember an injury. So I am taking a remedy for that. And I'll talk about that when it's done. It's pretty much done. But I'll talk about it maybe next week or so and what I did, because I want to give you the result as being satisfactory. I don't want to just tell you what the remedies are. I'd like to be able to report to you exactly how I did it, the mistakes I made, and how I clarify them. Okay, so tonight, though, I want to talk about botanicals, herbs, because it was my first love. Well, maybe my third love. My first one was, my foray was when I first got sick many years ago, back in, I don't know, I guess I was about 30. I used to go to health food stores. And at health food stores back then especially, but also now to a certain degree, they sold a lot of vitamins. So I thought vitamins were the answer. I assumed maybe I was missing vitamins. I found that not to be so useful. Then I went to an iridologist who gave me a list of a list of vitamins and supplements, many of which were herbs, that was so long, that was 2 pages long, and I kept them in a Ziploc baggie. And I had to take 2 of these and 4 of those and 1 of those and 3 of these just before I ate. By the time I finished swallowing them, I'd lost my appetite. And then there was 2 more of these and 6 of those, etc., after the meal. And then before bed, and I said, this isn't for me. Which harkens back to what I was saying, that I just want to live my life. I don't want to be, shall I say, noticed for what I'm doing for my health. It's a private matter to a certain degree, and I really didn't, I used to have to bring these Ziploc baggies too. I used to eat out for lunch, and I didn't want people to see all of that. It was just uncomfortable to me. So then from there, I started to learn about botanicals, and that's where I started to fall in love, because I think botanicals are marvelous. So I still include botanicals. We use them in a lot of our protocols, and I think they can be quite valuable for people. We can go into all kinds of botanicals. It's a whole nother study, but we do integrate them into the homeopathic schedule, and what I teach in my academy and in my courses and in the blogs, etc., I try to incorporate them. Now, we're going to talk about coffee tonight. I don't have anything in here yet. And I'm going to tell you that many people believe that coffee is an elixir. And I disagree. I think coffee can be a problem. So, but it is also, fortunately or unfortunately, is a way for us to socialize in this world, right? This is what we do. And my husband drinks coffee every day. And so I like to be able to have a cup with him if I can in the morning. Now, if I have a cup later in the day, I'm doomed. I won't sleep that night. Can I get away with decaf? I suppose I can, but I don't like the way they make decaf. I don't like, there are questionable aspects of it. So if I'm looking for true, genuine, real nutrition in every bite that I put into my mouth, then I feel pretty strongly that we want to back off of those kinds of things. So this is my compromise. I get my coffee, and it's made, and we put it in this pot, and I pour a little coffee, and I mean just a little. I'm going to say there's not more than 2 ounces in there. And then normally I put in extra hot water to bring it up, but I'm not going to put that in right now. Because the next thing I do is I put in my, I left it in the freezer, my brown butter. I put a cube of brown butter in there. So you're going to ask me what brown butter is. Some people will, many people will already know. So I get butter, I put it in a glass container, like a bread pan that's glass. I put it in the oven at 300 degrees, and I wait about 30, 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and I stir it a little bit, and it turns brown in the bottom a little bit, and I stir it a little bit more, make sure that it's as brown as it can be without turning black. And then I pour that into little cells, little ice cube tray cells, and then I freeze it. And then I pop one out and I put it in my coffee. Why do I do that? Well, I believe that butter is really a valuable food, very valuable. And it will also hold me because I try not to eat until later in the day. And the way that I can do that is by having that brown butter. Now, I don't drink my coffee first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, I have a glass of water, often with fresh lemon, fresh lime. Sometimes I'll put some salt in there, especially if I feel as though I might have been a little dehydrated the day before. I didn't have enough water. And so I try to drink a good amount of water in the morning. Then my first cup of coffee is actually around 11 in the morning. So I put my coffee in, I put my brown butter in, and then I have this handy little, I wish I had brought my brown butter. I'm so sorry, everyone. It's just a little tiny cube about this big, about that big. I put that in there, and because the coffee is hot, it melts. Then I use my whipper, and I whip up into my coffee cup. I whip right in there. And it starts to foam up. And then once I've finished with that, here's my little stand, my handy little stand for my whipper. Then I start adding my other ingredients. I put a pinch, I have my salt here, a pinch of salt in my coffee because it brings out the flavor a little bit more. It just makes it a little more of a kick. Sometimes I add raw cream. If I am in Florida, I can get raw cream readily, very readily. So I put a little bit of raw cream in there sometimes. Sometimes I don't because I've already put my butter in. Sometimes I put collagen in. But to be honest, I'm going to put a little in now. But to be honest, I don't feel as though I need too much collagen. And why is that? Because I drink my own homemade bone broth. And I feel pretty strongly that I'm getting probably a real good amount of collagen and what I need from bones. Okay, then, now here come the herbs. I'm going to show you this. This is white oak. I don't use this any longer, but I thought I'd point it out to you. It's white oak, and the reason I used this for a long time is because I had a dental cavitation, actually 2 of them. Actually 3, and then 1 went, and then the other 2, this one went, and then finally. And it was really just a supplement. But to be honest, what really did it, and I'll talk about it another time, was homeopathy that completely uprooted osteomyelitis. For those of you who don't know, I've talked about this many times, but I never had to have it debrided. It was a cavitation is another word. I never had to have any surgery in order to debride the area, which was a very, very old infection from about 33 years old. So I used to put white oak in there just to support the bone and that kind of situation, but I don't any longer. I just happen to have that nearby. And I also, for the longest time, put in Syzygium jumbal. Now, what I love about this herb, it's also called jambo seed, and it's really great to bring down the cravings for sweets, to help with blood sugar, but I don't have that problem any longer. And it's because of the way that I'm eating lately. I'm pretty much keto, I suppose. Sometimes I go in and out of carnivore-ish keto, and I don't eat until later in the day. So I find that my blood sugar is actually pretty good, so I don't need this Syzygium. But for those who have a craving for sweets, and until I changed my diet, I too would put this in here. And the way I would do it, I'll put some in there now. Actually, I'll put the other ones in instead. So I also want to mention that you can put as many herbs in here as you want. I don't taste them except for one, and I'll put that one in next. My next one is cayenne. I love cayenne. I love hot, spicy foods. I like cayenne in my coffee for two reasons. One is it gives it a kick. And I want to taste something because I dilute it so much with hot water that it doesn't have much of a coffee flavor, so it's got to have some kind of flavor. And I love cayenne. But I also love cayenne because it's particularly good for vascular issues. And there are vascular issues in my family, and I'm just going to, I'm going to get ahead of it. I don't even think about this anymore. I had to actually stop and think because I keep these right at my little coffee station, and I don't think, okay, I've got to take care of my veins, I've got to take care of my blood sugar. I don't do that anymore. I figured out what it was, and then I just took it from there and made it into a daily routine. So I would then put in, here's my cayenne. Now, it depends on how hot you like things. That's about how much I put in. That's about 15, maybe a little more than 15 drops, and that's how much I put in there. I love it. In fact, coffee to me tastes not very good without my cayenne. And this, by the way, this is from Herb Farm. I love Herb Farm. Farm is spelled P-H-A-R-M. This one, the Syzygium, is from OHM Pharma. But you can buy this from Herb Farm, is my guess as well, and others as well. Okay, my next combination or next botanical is cinnamon. Now, everyone knows that cinnamon is useful for helping to bring down blood sugar. And I do believe I had a blood sugar problem. I'm going to tell you, I never tested it. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I don't want to live that life of test and check and be sure this and check that. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that. But in my life, I didn't have anything very serious other than the infections. I really didn't have anything very serious, but I noted that I was craving sweets. That I would wait for, when we went out to dinner, I would so look forward to dessert. And it really was not a healthy way of living. I knew that. And I have a lot of diabetes in my family. So cinnamon is important. And so a lot of people know cinnamon is useful, but it's got to be Ceylon cinnamon or cinnamon Ceylon. This one is, of course, a tincture. And so, again, I get this from Herb Farm. And I just put about the same amount as I do of the cayenne pepper. Okay. How's it going so far, friends? Bob Dunbar says, Syzygium was key in my losing 74 pounds in 16 months. I know that, Bob, and I'm really impressed. It's excellent. Collagen and raw milk go in my coffee. Yum, says Tara. You bet. That's all very good. Raw milk, raw cream. If we use dairy, milk, a cream that's pasteurized, and I have a very hard time finding milk that is not ultra pasteurized or cream that's not ultra pasteurized. And so I think that is, it's flavor only, and I think we pay for it. I think it is a real problem. If I'm going to use dairy, it's going to be raw or fermented, such as in yogurt. Okay, last one. This one I never skip. It is Crataegus, which is one of this. Now, I got this from Dr. Reckeweg. You can buy that on Amazon. I like his products. I trust his products. I didn't know about them for the longest time, but I've checked with homeopaths, my homeopathic colleagues in India and in Germany. And I think the other one was in Portugal to see what they thought of Dr. Reckewig. And I feel pretty comfortable about it. It's, again, a mother tincture. Now, what do I use Crataegus for? Well, there's heart disease in my family. And I used to, years ago, get heart palpitations, although I think it had to do with my eating all the wrong foods. But I put that in as well. Yes. And so this one is not a pipette. You have to drop it in. At least that's the way this one is particularly laid out. And I put that in there. Okay, what have we got left? I wish I could have shown you my brown butter, but let's see. Hey, products coming in backwards on Facebook screen. I'm so sorry. So I'll repeat them again. Everyone, don't forget to, okay, here we go. How do you spell Crataegus? Crateaegus. It is the Latin word for hawthorn. I used to have a hawthorn tree in my front yard, and so I used to actually make a tincture out of it. But now I no longer have that, and so I buy it. So this is the lot. And sometimes I change things up. Sometimes I don't put any in. For the most part, this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. So then I whip it up again, because everything's in there. And I have to cover it up with this cloth. And I whip up my collagen in there. And the brown butter, raw cream, collagen, colostrum. Yeah, a little raw sugar. I don't put sugar in. You can put sugar in. Is Español trustworthy on Amazon? You know, that's a good question, Sarah. I don't know the answer to that. I do wonder about Amazon. I've had a couple missteps with them, but it's usually because it's been labeled wrong. They put another label on it. Okay, now what I do. Now I add my hot water to about this much coffee and all the mixture. And the rest is water, so that I'm not getting so much coffee. Now, some people say they can't have any coffee, and I would tend to agree with them. But I'm going to tell you, I do the same thing, exactly the same thing when I get my bone stock out. I put more salt, and I put all the same products in there, all the same botanicals. I still put my raw butter in. I still whip it up. I might not put the collagen in, not bother with that, and I drink that instead. And to be honest, I've gotten a little lazy. Otherwise, I would probably be drinking more of that. I particularly like to drink that in the winter, in the cooler months. But my concern. What about Herb Farm Hawthorn tincture instead? I don't. Yeah, that's still good. I don't want to drink anything that I must drink. I don't want to eat anything that I must. I don't want to feel obliged by a food or a drink. Because in my estimation, true health is freedom. I want the freedom to be able to do, within intelligent reason, to do what I'm comfortable doing. And once I've set this all into action, it just falls into place. It falls into place that my husband and I go out to dinner, and I almost always have raw oysters. I love raw oysters. I eat them a lot. I like to have pasture-raised beef. I like to have good quality cheese, and I don't eat a lot of dairy. Why don't I eat a lot of dairy? Besides my butter, I adore dairy. I adore good cheese. It's one of the most delectable things on earth as far as I'm concerned. But I'm going to tell you that if any of you are suffering from an allergy or food intolerances or rheumatoid arthritis or any of those kinds of conditions that are chronic and stubborn, I think one of the best things we can do is eliminate dairy altogether, except for perhaps butter. And in certain cases, some people can't have butter as well. Now, it doesn't mean forever. It doesn't mean that you must eschew these things for the rest of your life. Don't even think of that. Because if you're using homeopathy and you are also being careful about what you eat and drink, because I know this is old, even trite, This is our temple. It's all we've got. We get one body. It's got to carry us through maybe to 100, maybe longer. But it's got to carry us. And so we have to treat it with respect. How much Crataegus do I use? It's about 15 drops, 10 to 15 drops. So somebody's asking Bob, how did he take this? And my guess is Bob did it the same way I'm doing it. But I don't know. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Guess I'm not doing something right. I only have the chat live. Okay. Do you dilute your bone stock like your coffee? No, I do not. And the only reason I'm diluting my coffee is because I don't want that much coffee. I have just a flavor of it. And I also, by the way, used to put cocoa powder in. I do that, no longer do that as well. I no longer do that. And the reason for that is because that too can cause trouble. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons and what's involved in them, but yeah, cheese is addictive, says Neely. I'll eat the whole block at one sitting. Yes, if I'm not really careful. Yeah, it's very easy to do that. No doubt about it. Hey there, Neely, says Juliana. I keep my botanicals together, says Juliana. I would make chamomile tea and place tissue salts or tincture. Yes, you can do that. You can put your tissue salts in there, such as Mag Phos if you have difficulty falling asleep, or Cali Phos, or if you know that you're going to have that at night. Yes, chamomile tea, mint tea, and yes, my friends, even mint tea. I have no trouble with mint tea, and most people do not. Most people do not have trouble with mint when it's mint tea. I grow mint in my garden, and I pick it and I put it in my kibbe. I put it in my meatballs. I add it to pour hot water over it. And it's a syzygium. Here we go. Bob Dunbar says, mother tincture, 5 to 10 drops, 1 to 2 times per day. Yeah. And that is for losing weight when there is a craving for sweets. When we just can't break that. It is important that we eat as pristinely as we can and then not give it another thought. So I buy at grocery stores, but I'll be honest with you, I don't like doing it. I just bought some macadamia nuts the other day from a local grocery store, and I opened up the package. There's no stale date on them, but I opened the package and they were rancid. And then I bought some ricotta cheese because tomorrow is the Independence Day, and I was going to make an Italian dessert with ricotta cheese and sour cream. And I opened it up just to take a little taste, and it had obviously been frozen because it was gritty instead of creamy. So I'm very unhappy. Yes, Italian meatballs with mint. You got it, Neely. Yes, it's delicious. It adds a wonderful flavor. Not too much, but it adds a wonderful flavor. I am so disturbed by grocery stores lately. The other day same thing. I went to buy butter. And on the butter, now I have to read the package because they're adding flavors to butter. And it said on the outside of the package, it said organic butter. I buy unsalted organic butter, and I turned it over. Just, you never know what you're going to find. And flavors, cream, milk, and flavor. I find it disturbing. So I find that I'm more and more likely to purchase directly from farmers, go to the farmers markets, etc. I have a farmer that I buy all my meat from. I trust her completely. Love to buy ricotta from an Italian deli. Fresh is so different. You got it, Francine. Fresh ricotta is different. And they should have that, but it's not. Irish butter, organic. You got it, Anne-Marie. The Irish butter that's coming out of Ireland in the last, 10, 12 years. Yeah, Kerrygold. It's the one. I used to love Plugra. In fact, I've even talked about it. It has a fabulous flavor. And then I turned the package over for Plugra, Plugra butter. And again, flavors added. Love the Costco butter, close to 100% grass-fed cows from New Zealand. See, and I trust, there are certain countries we can pretty much trust, at least now, because we never know what's going to happen, do we? We never know. There is some now wrapped in foil. That worries me. Yeah, and sometimes the plastics are not so good too. But we have to just pick and choose. We vote with our dollars. So I'm going to take a sip of my coffee right now and declare how delicious it is. And the reason, again, I find this delicious is the cayenne pepper, the butter, browned butter. You can put any butter in there. You can put regular butter in there, but I love it browned. It adds a nuttiness to it. Tiny bit of flavor of coffee, and I don't taste anything else. Yes. Replying to Dunbar, text me. Costco is communist. Mask Nazis. I didn't know that. I don't know nothing about Costco. I second the Costco butter. It's fascinating what the information that's now available because of the internet. Thank God for the internet. It's the worst thing and it's the best thing. And so let's see if we've got some more questions coming here. Congratulations, you received 100 messages today with, oh, okay. Oh, I don't need any of that marketing business. Let's see if you have any other questions. Cheese contains, yeah, we're going to go into, you can read all the stuff that people talk about that are, I can barely read. I don't have my glasses on, so that's why I stopped, because I can't read the word. It's not familiar to me immediately. I had the same problem with macadamias. Yeah. And you know what? It's not just macadamias. When my husband and I were driving up from Florida to the north, I stopped in Georgia to get some pecans on the side of the road. Oh, this is great. They sell just pretty much pecans and maybe some oranges and some grapefruits. And I bought 2 large bags of pecans. Rancid. I don't understand how this could be. I never remember tasting rancid nuts as often as I do. I've stopped buying walnuts for the same reason. They're always rancid, even if I buy them in the shell. And I like to have in the shell nuts for after dinner. I like everyone to have finished their dinner. Then we make some hot drink, coffee or tea or something like that. And then sometimes I'll put some cheese out and some figs, some fresh figs or dried figs. And then I like to put an array of nuts, and then everybody cracks the nuts on the table, and it's an activity and it's a discussion. I love that. But I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed. It's hard to get these kinds of good foods. So let's see. Replying to Alice, absolutely. Even the dairy in Europe is better. The skim milk is healthy. Yeah, and all of the dairy is better in Europe. It always has been. I think it's always been that way. I have to buy ricotta from an Italian deli. Fresh as so. Yes, I just read that. Thank you. I do have to put my glasses now. Oh, there you are. I see you now. Can you please make a recipe card for your coffee for Mighty's? That's not a bad idea, Pamela. Yeah, I might just do that. I bought a container of heavy cream, and it got pushed to the back of my refrigerator. I know what you're going to say. In the garage, and it froze. When I discovered it, I defrosted, and there were butter curds. So I got cheesecloth and strained it, and I had my own butter without salt. Yeah, salt. That's fascinating. That's interesting. I thought what you were going to say is that the cream was put in the back of the refrigerator and left there for months, and because it was ultra pasteurized, it didn't go bad. Dairy from Italy, Switzerland, and France is often from A2 cows. Oh, that's what I love. And the cream that I buy and the raw butter that I buy in Florida is A2. Okay, you can watch this again. I know you missed the coffee recipe, but you can watch. By the way, I didn't say this, but the coffee's organic. And, hey, what is organic now? We don't really know. But, yeah, I will post them. Yes, I'll post them. Yep. Tierra Farms, Valatia, New York, or Valate, New York. Always fresh organic nuts. Deb, thank you. Tierra Farms, my friends. I will buy them online. It's very important to get this stuff on. And nuts are very, after an Italian meal, especially around the holidays, but anytime. That's what we do. We put an array of nuts and figs, and I'm trying to think of what else we include. So I said cheese. We don't eat the cheese before. We eat the cheese after. And sometimes some jams, fig jam and that kind of thing. And so you can find those kinds of things around Christmas and the holidays. But Yeah, organic appears to be the new marketing buzzword. You must be cautious in your purchases. You've got it, Juliana. No doubt about that. We all knew that was going to happen. All right. Thank you, my friends. I think we did it. I have to dash off for a study group. And if you're not a member of our Gateway study groups, do consider it. If you're thinking about any other courses, do look at Joette's Learning Center. Is that the name of it? I think we've just changed that. It's, I think so, if you go to my blog or my website. And then you can take a look at the courses, should you be interested. And I also want to say that should you be interested in our academy, we have a few more spots. We really do, even though it's online, much of it is online, much of it is also live. But even though it's online, we still have to make specific placement for the numbers of people, and we've made a few more places. So should you be interested, by all means, look forward to see you next week. God bless you all, and I think we will post this. Great idea.